Hey there, tech fans. Rick here again with a full review of this brand new LED lighting kit. This is a really clever product that includes 5 of these individual LED light bars that you can use to add a little extra light anywhere you need it, both inside and outside your home. Now, before I get too deep into the actual review, I always like to start with an unboxing just to show you everything that's included with the kit, and that way you'll understand exactly what you get if you decide this product's right for you. And then I'll dive into the specifications so you understand exactly what the lights provide and how to use them. But I want to point out some of the clever design decisions they've made with this product because I've tested a lot of LED light bars, and after a while they all start looking the same. They work great. You charge them, you use them in a particular area, they provide a little bit of light. When they dim down enough, you got to charge them again. But these guys really thought through how you charge it, how you use it in the field, and what kind of control you want over the lights. And I think they've done a great job with this product, so I'll get into that at the end. But let's get started with the unboxing. So when you first pop open the box, you'll find 5 of these individual light bars. Each of these operate independently. You'll find a charging cable. This is a USB-A to USB-C. You can plug this end into any standard USB wall charger. The other end, the USB-C end, you can plug into the lights directly to charge individual lights, or you can plug into the charging base, and that's where it gets interesting. You'll find a charging base. Now you're probably wondering what's with a charging base. Well, this charging base will charge 3 of the lights at the exact same time simply by sliding them down in these 3 center slots. And they've even built in 2 extra slots to store extra lights in case you're not using them at that time. So that's one of the innovations. Whereas before, if you've got a kit of 5 lights, you're constantly swapping out the cable between the lights to charge them all. With this one, you can charge 3 at the same time. So good on this company for coming up with that innovation. Also, the lights are magnetic, so you can stick them to your refrigerator. I use one in the car if I've got car trouble. It's in my glove box. If I have to pull over and look at the engine, I can open the hood, stick this to the inside of the hood, and it provides plenty of light for me to check those battery connections. You can use them under your cabinet. You can use them in a closet. A lot of ways to go, but the magnetics are important because they allow you to immediately stick them to a refrigerator, and then you've got a flashlight handy if you lose power in your house. What if you want to stick them to something that's not magnetic? Well, they include 6 magnetic pads. These are metal pads with 3M adhesive on the back. You can stick this to a wall, and the light will stick to this on the wall. So it's just a little square that goes up that has enough magnetic attraction for the back of it where it'll hold the light securely on the wall. They also include a remote control. And you're probably wondering, what's a remote control doing with these lights? Well, the lights operate in one of 3 modes. Day mode with motion, night mode with motion, or on. If it's in the on mode, the remote control has a lot of control over what the lights are doing. You can turn them on, you can turn them off, you can dim them, you can actually set timers where they're on for 15 minutes and then they turn off. So a lot of control in that full on mode, and I'll get into all that in a minute. And then finally, there's a full instruction manual that explains everything you could possibly want to know about this kit. So read through this manual because it provides a lot of good information on the lights, how they work, how you charge them, how you can use them, and more importantly, how you can control them when you've got them installed in your home. All right, so let's talk about the specifications. So each individual light provides 150 lumens of light. That's not a terrible amount of light. They're not insanely bright, but they're bright enough where if you have them on an under cabinet situation like this, it'll throw a nice bit of light down on your counter. They're also great if you put them in a closet. We have a closet in the house where we keep all our dry goods. When I open that door, I've got 2 of these on each side. They throw a lot of light inside that closet and light things up. So I like that an awful lot. Like I'd mentioned, I use it in the car because if I've got car trouble, I can stick it on the inside of my hood when I'm working inside that engine compartment. Throws plenty of light there. I also like the fact that I've got the magnetic pads because we have a lot of those outdoor containers that we keep pillows in and things around the pool in. And if it's dark outside and you lift that up, you really can't see what's going on inside that container. Well, one of these on the hood of that container, the minute I lift it up, it lights up the container underneath. So 150 lumens is plenty of light. These are bright white, but there are other softer white colors that you can get with these. As far as kelvins go, these are between 6,000 and 7,000 kelvins, so it's a pretty bright white. But I like that because it throws a lot of light down on whatever surface it's above. 150 lumens. It's got an 800 milliampere hour battery in each of the lights, which in that sensor mode will give you about 15 days of use, which is pretty cool. Now it depends, of course, how many times it turns on, how many times it turns off, but in the sensor mode, it'll actually come on for 15 seconds. If there's still motion in the area, it'll stay on. After 15 seconds, if there's no motion, it'll turn off. What I like about these though, which is different than a lot of other light bars, is they have a day sensor mode and a night sensor mode. And you might be thinking, well, why would I need a day sensor mode? Well, a lot of times there's light in the room, but it's not bright enough to actually see what's going on if you drop something on the floor. So in the day sensor mode, it ignores the fact that there's daylight in the room, and it still activates the sensor. So in the day sensor mode, which I'll show you in a minute, if you come through in the daytime, if there's light in the room, it'll still turn on. Most of these lights have a night sensor mode, where if it's dark and it senses motion, it'll turn on. The nice thing about this too is that it is a very sensitive PIR sensor for motion, which is a really advanced type of sensor. A lot of the other older boxes like this or other light bars out there use an older style sensor, which triggers, it doesn't trigger as well when people walk through. It may false trigger a lot, so the light's popping on and off all the time. Using a PIR sensor like this one has, it's actually looking for the edge of a warm body and a cold air around it. So it's looking for a body walking through the room, and it looks for the edge of that warm to cold, and they're really, really accurate. The sensors will reach out to 10 feet, and they have a 120-degree field of view, which is a really wide field of view. So if you set these up under your cabinet, as you approach the counter, it's going to see you walking up and turn on. So they're really sensitive from that perspective. They work great in a closet, and again, I've got them in a couple of outside containers. They work really well out there as well. All right, so that's pretty much it. Now, let me talk a little bit about the charging base. So on the one side, you'll see a USB-C port right there, and that's where you'll plug the cable into. And on the bottom of each of the units, and I'll try to do a close-up of this in a second, there are 2 pins on either side right here, and those are the charging pins. And in the bottom of this charging stand, you'll find pins sticking up right there. So there are pads on here and pins in the bottom. And when you slide these in the correct way like that, they'll rest on those pins, and that provides the power to actually charge the lights. So you can charge 3 lights at the same time. You get them all in there right, like this. Yep. Put them, whoops, I got that one backwards. See, I'm going to make sure I align them right. When they're plugged in like that, they'll charge. Now, if you want to put the other ones in there, you can store one here, you can store one there. So I think they really did a good job at the charging base. And for me, I leave this in our playroom. We have a playroom where we go in and play games at night. I plug it in there. When I'm using the lights, if they're getting a little bit low on energy, I'll plug them back in. In an hour or two, they're fully charged. I can use them again. So it's a great little attachment there. Now, the lights themselves are pretty clever. There's a button on the end of it here where you turn it on, and there are 3 modes, and there's an LED inside the unit you have to look at. So there's a blue LED and a red LED. When you first turn it on, it's going to have a blue LED. So I've just turned it on there, and I wasn't looking at the right side. So let me turn it off, and I'll turn it back on. So you can see the blue LED flashing there. And again, I'll try to get a close-up of this. But turning it on, it comes on in the blue LED mode. Now that's the night sensing mode for blue. If I want it to be day sensing, I tap it again, and the red LED comes on. And once the red LED is on, then I know for sure I'm in day sensing mode. Now, day sensing mode is what I'm going to show you today. So here I've got a piece of metal, nothing fancy, but I'm in day sensing mode. Let me stick it to that. Now I'm moving around, so it's seeing me move around, it's going to stay on. So I'm actually going to spin this away from me like that, and we'll let it calm down. I can watch it on the monitor. So 15 seconds, that should turn off. Now once it turns off, I'm going to kind of creep up on the side of it and get my hand in front of it, and we'll see when it turns back on. But the beauty of this, again, is 15 seconds is plenty of time for me to be at a counter, do what I have to do. When I walk away, it turns off. I like that because it conserves on the energy inside. A lot of these have a minute or 30 seconds of time, and you're already away from the counter, and it's still on. You're wasting all that energy. So 15 seconds is about right. Okay, it's turned off. Now watch me come up on the side. There you go, it turned right on. So again, I'm coming from the side, but if you're on a counter, you're underneath it here, and it's going to turn on even quicker. I like that a lot, and it gives you 10 feet of distance between that sensor and whatever it's sensing. So great job there. Now, if you want to turn it on fully, turn it off, and then start all over again. So right now it's off. Hold it like this, it'll turn on. Tap it again, you're in day mode. Tap it again, you'll see the blue and red on. That means it's on. So it's on all the time at this point. It's not going to turn off, and that's where the remote comes in. So with the remote, I can set a timer to turn it off after a certain period of time. I can adjust the brightness. I can control it from this remote, turn it on, turn it off. So if you're using it in a cabinet, that may be the way to go, where you want to have more control than the automation that's built into the sensor. But it's up to you how you use it. And again, depending on where I'm using them, I'll set it up differently. So under the counter, I really only want that to come on at night, so I put them in night sensor mode. Outside, I want it on all the time, because if I'm open it during the day, I may want to look inside there, because there's a lot of spiders in there, and I like to see what's going on. So I think it's a great little product. And again, the innovation behind it is really the fact that it's magnetic, 150 lumens, between 6,000 and 7,000 Kelvin, about 15 days of use in sensor mode. I just like the fact that I've got a charging base that makes it really easy to charge it. And overall, I think they've done a great job with the product. So hopefully you found this review helpful. I've enjoyed talking about it. I like the product an awful lot, and I think you're going to like it as well. So thanks again for watching. And until next time, as always, stay nerdy.